Hi, everyone. We're super excited to be here. I'm here with Raphael.
Hello.
CEO and co-founder of WeWeb.
Great to be here.
Sorry, we're a little bit late. I have some technical issues, so you might see me disappear because I'm going to log in with another computer so I can handle the chat as we go. But yeah, we're super proud to be launching on Product Hunt today. We're very excited to talk to you, kind of update you on what we've been up to and what we're planning next. Yeah.
Perfect.
Go for it, Raphael.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's so good to be here again. Sorry for the delay. So as you can see here, it's a very beautiful venue where we are. We're doing the team of site this week. We brought the whole team together in a very nice place with a lot of, a very big garden. It's very green and it's sunny today, so it's actually enjoyable. So we thought, we might make you enjoy this through the background as well. So for all of those of you who connected today, thank you so much for taking the time. We wanted to share, first of all, the news that today is a special day for us because we are live on Product Hunt. And as you know, for startups and companies like us, Product Hunt is usually a very nice platform to get a new audience to discover the product, and to get also existing users to come and comment about the product. So it's creating a lot of, I would say, nice content for the platform to be more discoverable, especially for those who are interested in no code in general. So we launched earlier today at 9 a.m. The Product Hunt is during the whole day. So it finishes, I think, around midnight CET. Which is it's actually around midnight PST. I think San Francisco time, because it starts at midnight PST and it finishes at 11 p.m. 11:59 p.m. PST. So if you have the time, maybe just go on that Product Hunt page if you have a Product Hunt account. And what would be amazing is if you could share a feedback on your experience with the platform, to inform other users who are curious and discovering WeWeb through this launch about your experience. I think that would be very useful and a really good help for us.
Yeah, just share the link in the chat.
Yeah, thanks, Joyce. Right, so that's it for the kind of for the news. But we also wanted to take the opportunity to update you all on where we stand on the product roadmap. So first of all, during the full week that we spent here, it's not done yet. We worked very hard on deploying new features. We mostly focused on a lot of, I would say, UI and UX improvements that were requested by a lot of you since our new release. So now we are removing frictions as we are learning with you guys, because as you know, on the 9th of April, we launched the new version of WeWeb, and it was a full revamp of the UX UI. And so, is there anything?
Yeah, because in portrait format, they can't see you. So
okay,
if you come in.
Yeah, I'll just stay here. We did that full revamp of the UX UI. And so we did our best. And then we are learning with you and trying to remove like the small frictions that are remaining as we go. So we did a lot of work on this. There are still some that needs to be taken care of. One especially is, and I wanted to say it up front, is the new logs and debugging experience overall. So we tried kind of a new approach, but then we got your feedback, and apparently you preferred the old approach. So I think we're going to, and at the same time, some of the new things that we release are already very well used by you guys. So I think we're going to kind of mix what we used to do with the new approach, and we'll work to improve that. So that's going to happen like in the weeks to come. It's being qualified now, and that's going to happen in the weeks to come. So that's these are the main things I would say for the UX UI. And then we spent a lot of time also on the AI. And so yesterday we pushed in production version of that agentic system that we released on the 9th of April. And I don't know if you noticed, maybe some of you did already, but it's consuming a lot less tokens. So this was like the number one issue that you guys had. And so we worked a lot on this. And now as you will prompt and use the AI to assist you in building, you should see an improvement, I think around 50% improvement of the token consumption, which is massive. So we did a lot of work on this, and we're going to continue to work on it. So at this point, it's still consuming a lot of tokens, but way less than what we used to have, and we'll continue to do those improvements. So that's one. Then second, it was also overall a little unstable. It's still unstable. So the version is still in alpha, although we released today in product and kind of more publicly, I would say. But the version is still in alpha, and we're expecting, given the pace of the improvement, we're expecting the version to be, I would say, production ready, probably towards the end of June. So now it's really a matter of week before we will feel, and hopefully you will feel, that the AI now is a reliable assistant, because
and it's improving like almost daily at this point.
Yeah,
like definitely several times a week.
Yeah, multiple times a week we are doing some releases, and again, it's because we spent 6 months revamping this agentic system, because the previous one was not as flexible as the one we have now, and we're very happy with that new version, because now we get feedback, and we can almost fix the problems we discover instantly. So that's why we release, I would say, 2-3 times a week, which is incredible. So at this pace, if we continue like that, by the end of June, you will have a reliable assistant in the platform. And so what's not reliable today mostly is, I mean, you guys experienced it, but sometimes it's gonna break your UI, break your workflows. You will ask to do something, it will not do it. It will run for 15 minutes and build some stuff you didn't ask for. And so I just also wanted to say that we are absolutely aware of this. And so that's why we have this little alpha button at the top, just to warn everybody that this version is still unstable, so it should be used with caution. But very soon, it should be much more reliable. One of the highlights I wanted to talk about as well with regards to this AI is that now it's, first of all, full stack and multi-pages. So if you use the WeWeb backend and the WeWeb authentication, so in backend I'm talking about table and authentication basically, the AI can now build everything for you. That's one, back and front, in one go with one prompt. And so that's very handy, because we analyze the prompts, obviously, and a lot of prompts are requesting for changes that involve both modification in the backend and in the front end. And now the AI has the context of the whole application. And thanks to that, also, it's already much more reliable. So that's one. And second, and this is very recent, now the AI is multi-page. So it can build multiple pages in one go. And it also has the context of the other pages. You might laugh because it seems natural that it should have the context of all pages, but actually the version we released on the 9th of April didn't have it. And so now it has it. So it has the full context of back and front, and it has the full context of all of your pages. So it can easily reuse sections across pages. It can reuse specific workflows that are in some pages and call it from another one. It can do all of these things, which is only natural to expect, obviously, from the AI.
Maybe just to explain why that was not the case before. It's like, of course, our no-code editor is both one of our most powerful assets, and also something we need to contend with, because when you switch pages, there's something happening in terms of architecture that wasn't that easy to address. So.
Exactly. I mean, for the curious here, the most difficult thing with AI is context management. And so, because like that is what will consume like most of the tokens, obviously. And if you give it, first of all, like too much context, it will do a lot of mistakes, and it will consume a lot of tokens. So you have to be, I would say, smart about how you manage the context, and therefore making it full stack, making it multi-page with a 50% improvement on token consumption was like a technological challenge that the team managed to handle. So I'm very proud of everybody. And I hope you guys start enjoying the AI more and more. But again, be patient. I would say by the end of June, it should be a whole new experience. And I think, since 2024, when we saw, Sonnet 3.5 coming, we thought, oh my God, that's going to be such an enabler for anyone who wants to learn to build for the web. And so we spent now a year and a half basically working on this. It has been the most the most challenging technical challenge we had in our lives, but it's coming to fruition.
Yeah.
And now we learned to kind of merge those AI capabilities while maintaining the visual control. And I think, we're going to give like the best of both worlds to our customers, and that's super exciting. So yeah, I think that's about it for the big news. Then I can maybe briefly talk about what's next. So I think I saw it in the chat, but yes, a CLI is coming. So once we will have stabilized the quality and the reliability of the AI, we're going to open it up. So to open up the whole kind of agentic system to external AIs. So you'll be able to call WeWeb directly from Claude or from Codex or whatever.
I'm very excited about
yeah,
this.
that's going to be so fun. So whatever you're using, you will be able to combine it with WeWeb, and so both backend and frontend, by the way. So if you use also the WeWeb backend, you will be able to obviously do some changes directly through the CLI, and it's going to be a CLI MCP we'll have to discuss.
Yeah.
But in any case, that's totally part of the plan. So that's one for the AI. And then we obviously have what we discussed earlier. So we'll continue to thrive to simplify and overall improve the UX UI as we already started. And we got a lot of fantastic feedback, actually.
Yeah.
So we are very happy with that. And so we'll just continue to improve the comfort when it comes to building with the editor. And so it needs to, get a lot of love, because now that we have, all of those bells and whistles, so many features, sometimes it's hard to make it understandable, easy to use. And so we are going to work a lot on this.
So, yeah, actually keep sending us your feedback, because it's not always easy to. No, I just saw a comment, for example, on the Product Hunt page. It was super interesting because it was a new user confused by the fact that there was a message about not being able to edit binded text.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for us, it's obvious. Like when if you're experienced with WeWeb, it's obvious for you. But we have we have work to do to make that.
When you discover the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for new users, and also for existing users.
True.
Power users. You guys sometimes are telling us, there are so many clicks just to do like simple changes. So these are things that we have in mind. And now that we have this new scope, framework of an editor, we can play a lot with it and just improve your life while you're building. And then you'll be able to use AI, only use the editor, use both. So, we're also thinking about the experience around this. And I think we're getting to something actually very enjoyable to use. Yeah. So that's one. And then obviously, role-based access control, branching. So like these features that you guys have been asking for with regards to collaboration are still on the radar for us. And that's something for Q4, as we discussed earlier. So Q3 will be mostly, focused on AI improvement, CLI MCP, and comfort and simplification, improvement of the UX UI overall. And then Q4, branching, role-based access control, and then other features that we touched upon. Will we have the time to do this? It's to be confirmed. We'll see. But if we can, basically, automatic documentation, security audit, performance audit, analytics. These are the things that we'll be able to now easily implement into the editor because we have all the pieces of the puzzles in place to do that. And obviously, we don't forget the integrations. So as you know, we now have the WeWeb backend, but the integrations for us are still extremely important. And so there are a lot of our users who are still using Xano, Supabase, and Airtable, and we want to continue to improve those integrations and ship a lot of new integrations. So we have a list of integrations that are being worked on as we speak. And so these integrations will be released across the year, basically. So integrations is improving the existing ones and then releasing new ones, so you can continue to work with the tools you love. So in terms of philosophy, we didn't change anything. Basically, we want to be this open-ended platform that gives you a lot of control and at the same time a lot of power. So that's openness also with regards to if you want to own the code, if you want to deploy the code, So, if you use our backend, you still completely own the code. You can deploy it on your own infrastructure if you want. So we want to be this, easy to use platform, but that has a lot of depth and power and without any lock-in. So that's the philosophy didn't change overall.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I can pause here. That's it for the
I'd be curious to know
For the
what people
roadmap.
are most excited about. If you could let us know in the chat if you're most excited, I don't know, about the MCP CLI, the new integrations, if you have any like new integrations you want to see or integrations you want us to give more love to. Yeah, would love to know. And just answering React solution. So we already have the code export. Improving the quality of the code export in the future, it kind of depends on what you mean, because you mentioned spaghetti code. That's typical of code exports of no-code tools. So I don't think it will be possible. Like right now, the code that we export is meant for machine to machine. Like so, it integrates super well with your CI/CD processes, but it's not meant to really be edited by developers because of the way we just compile things, from what I understand. Like, but I don't think there are plans to really like make it editable.
No, exactly. I think the export feature is mostly for our users and customers to own their production, and that's the main use case. If you want to edit that code, it's probably better to do it directly from WeWeb. You could do it theoretically, by yourself in the files. It's actually fairly easy to do it on the front end side, components by components. It's very easy to read them. Where it's not easy is starting to tweak the reactivity. I would say the foundation of how the application works itself and the logic is a bit more complicated. And there is no actually simple. If we could, we would just do it. But there is no simple way to make this code easily modifiable. So that's one. And then, so if you do those modifications, by the way, you will not be able to import them back in the platform. So there will be a desynchronization between your WeWeb project and the code itself. So
Don't you think that once we have the CLI, for example, because one use case that I have in mind is I love doing like marketing dashboards in Cloud Code, but because they're on my local machine, so I don't need to share them, but I don't feel confident like shipping them and making them, because I would be worried about the security thing. But with a CLI, in theory, I could push like my dashboard could almost be one page component. And so then I actually have the logic built in.
That's true.
With the no-code stuff.
Very
so
true.
Then the code export is actually...
It's an interesting hack, actually. Yeah, so it's very true that you could actually make your app into one single component, then deploy it on WeWeb, and then in one click you would benefit from the whole infrastructure and everything. Yeah, that would work. So
maybe not the cleanest way to do it. I don't know, for professional apps, but like at least for my like single purpose apps,
it could work. Yeah, that's true.
All right, so I think we had a bunch of other questions. That was a little bit of love for the UI updates that happened just before the stream. That's really nice to hear. We were wondering if they would be. Would love to know your thoughts on the new chat panel. What do you think about it? And I think there was that's it for we didn't miss any. And there was a comment about it would be really useful and informative if a user could see all the updates made by AI, like in the IDE diff window, all the changes.
Yeah, so that's something also we are planning to work on, basically. I would say improving the transparency you get from the AI. And I think it comes down to, first of all, potentially a plan mode. So, when you prompt something, if it's something very simple, just a UI change, you don't need to plan it. But if it's like a whole feature, maybe you need to plan it. And, before getting started, you will actually approve the plan, so you will know what the AI will do. But that's more macro level. And then when it comes to micro level, you should see that you kind of already see it, but it's not very easy to read. You should be able to see, what workflow it built, what workflow it edited, what tables it edited, like all of these things. And so at this point, it's kind of, everything is streamed. So you would have to, check all the stream to understand it. And there's not a report at the end. But so that's also something we have in mind. So basically, our objective is again, we understand that our customers are here, the users are here because they want to have control. And so you guys don't use the AI blindly without actually wanting to understand what happened under the hood. Otherwise, you would probably use another platform. And so for us, increasing the transparency of what the AI does, making it act as an assistant rather than let it build everything, is very important for us in terms of UX. So we'll offer solutions with this regards.
Yeah, the follow-up is they're still afraid of using AI for fear of it will destroy something deep in my project. Yeah,
same.
I think it haunts everyone.
Yeah, actually me too. But I have something to say about it that I think will interest most of you. It's going to be a little technical, but just for you guys to understand, the way the AI works is there is a JSON abstraction between what the AI generates and the app that is actually being built. And this JSON abstraction is your guardrail. So the way it works is you prompt. The AI will interpret your prompt, generate something, but it will create that JSON. And then this JSON will be parsed by WeWeb, and WeWeb will build the app, if that makes sense. And after that, you will have a WeWeb coded app that respects a lot of coded best practices, right? And so this JSON, if it's not rendered properly, if it has flaws, the app will not be built. So these are your guardrails. And then since we have this JSON in hand, what we can do, and I'm so excited about this, we will be able to, I would say, add confirmation, but custom confirmation in this JSON that this JSON is respecting certain things. One could be, do not touch this workflow. Yeah. So you will have your list of workflows and you will be able to log them. Do not touch this one, do not touch this one. And the great thing is that it's going to be programmatic. Because I think you could do that in Cursor, etc., but it's not programmatic. So it's not, you still have a little change that is going to be touched. With the JSON abstraction, it's programmatic. So there is no way that the app will be built if the workflow has been touched. That's one thing. Nice. You could do the same with the elements. Use these elements, but don't use this one. So you have your list of, you have your list of elements. You can say, I want you AI to use all of these elements, but you will not use this one, this one, this one, this one. And so this will be made available to all users. And so you'll be able to customize this. So I'm super excited because this is probably the best way to guardrail your AI. And it will come out of the box, right? Like you have the list of all the things you want the AI to respect. And since we have this JSON abstraction, we'll just make sure that programmatically, by design, the AI will respect
that's super important because then, if I understand correctly, it means that even if the context gets bloated, it doesn't matter. The AI doesn't forget it because it's programmatic.
It's programmatic. So there's no way it does a mistake. Because we will check that the JSON respected this, and if it didn't, then it's not gonna build it. So, yeah.
And Raphael is asking if there's any certifications planned for the WeWeb backend.
By certifications, I assume you mean a certified training program, potentially.
Oh, or do you think it's SOC 2?
Oh, you're talking about SOC 2 and stuff. Maybe. So it's not in the roadmap. But it's on the radar. So why? Because like a lot of our enterprise customers are asking for this. We could not have those certifications because we were front end only up to now. But since now we offer a backend, and some of our enterprise customers, they want to use the backend, they are now requesting those certifications. So I think when we will go for it, we will start with SOC 2. And then we'll probably follow by ISO 27001. So we have it on the radar, but it's just not on the roadmap yet. So I cannot really say, yes, it's going to happen next year or it's going to happen this year, unfortunately. However, I can tell you that we will have to do it. We will want to do it because our customers are asking for it. And at this point, especially for the largest customers, it's creating frictions in the adoption. So we'll want to remove those frictions at some point. We just don't know how long it will take. So yeah.
For sure. And Miguel is asking if the revert change button in the AI chat is discontinued or if it will come back.
Yeah, it will come back. Yeah, that's part of the control we want to give you guys. So yeah, for now, if you are not happy with what the AI generated, you can still go, up up in the app next to your avatar in the history. Yeah, and you can revert, and it will just like revert all of the changes that AI did. But again, it's not very handy. So that's something that will come back.
Very nice. We've got Res D7 and Theo saying they enjoyed the updates. MCP CLI is the for Theo.
Cool.
Additional question about the integrations. Will you continue supporting Supabase front-end integrations, or are you planning to deprecate front-end integrations and focus on the back-end only?
No. We'll continue to support it. So absolutely. So the front-end plugin will be supported lifetime. So if you're happy with it, just continue to use it. Just the front-end plugin, we're not going to continue to do improvements on this. So now we're going to focus on the integration, as we call it. But you will be able. So first of all,
which can be front-end.
Which can be front-end, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. So first of all, the first effort we want to do is to bring the integration on par with the legacy plugin, the historical plugin. When that happens, then there won't be any real reason for you to start a new project and use the old plugin. You'll be able to use the new Supabase integration.
And when we say on par, it's because it's mostly UX stuff.
Yeah.
That is still easier in the plugins at the moment than in the integrations that we need to figure out.
Yeah, and there are still a few actions.
And I guess real time as a feature.
Real time, for sure. And there are one or two things that we don't support. But anyway, so that's the plan that we're working on this now. So we bring it on par, and when that happens, you'll be able to use the integration front end only, and that's what I would recommend to do. If you want to use the integration together with the WeWeb backend, it will make sense probably for just to use the server, not the DB then. And if you use the server, we'll basically secure the DB. And thanks to that, you will not have to go through the RLS headache. So we know that for some users, that could be also very interesting. You could still use Supabase as a DB basically, and the WeWeb server for all the logic and the security without the RLS headaches. So that could be fun to do. Some of the users we saw are already doing this actually. So no worries. The philosophy of WeWeb is to continue to integrate with other platforms. That's very important for us. So it's not going to be discontinued, and the integration, we are going to continue to improve it.
Yeah, I think that's what you said at the beginning. Like, the vision hasn't changed.
Yeah.
The values of flexibility and scale and
openness,
security, openness hasn't changed.
Exactly.
Okay, I love this question, and I think you're going to like it a lot as well. How is WeWeb going to compete against Claude, especially now that they clearly indicated they will develop the front-end side of AI development with Claude Design?
Yeah. So, obviously we've been asking ourselves this question since 2024, even a bit before, because in 2023 we started to experiment a little bit with AI. We just didn't, we're not expecting that it would come so fast. It would improve so quickly. And so what we figured is that our main differentiator is obviously the control we offer to our users. And so Claude Design will only get you the UI. They will not do the logic. They are not going to do, I suppose, the visual workflows. They are not going to basically let you build a full-fledged front end for a web app, if that makes sense. And so if they do so, it's going to be coded. So it's going to be through Claude Code. So basically you will design with Claude Design, and then you'll probably pass that design. That's what you can do already today to Claude Code. And then Claude Code will build all of your logic. And so that's going to work, probably. But if you don't know how to code, you will not own it. You will not control it. And if it breaks, you will not understand why. And so you will end up having to rely 100% on AI, which is fine, I suppose, for some projects if you're not yourself a developer, which might not be fine if you have something that is production critical, business critical, etc. So the differentiator of WeWeb is that you have the power of AI combined with visual control, the guardrails that we talked about, the whole platform infrastructure where we let you deploy in one click, we let you install, we let you have a staging, We let you have the branching collaboration when it's going to come.
Even now with the backend, the editor environment and the production environment.
Exactly, the multi-environment, the database migration. So basically, you can think about WeWeb as that cocoon for your app if you're non-technical. And we don't really think Anthropic is going to go into that direction. And if they do, we believe that they won't do it as advanced as well as us for one reason. And that's why I think you thought this would be a very interesting question for us. Technically speaking, if you want to put a visual editor, and I'm talking about mostly the workflow, all the bells and whistles to manipulate the front end pixel perfect on top of code, you need to know the structure of that code. The structure of that code needs to be deterministic. And so if you use AI to generate your code, by nature, it's non-deterministic. And therefore, since you don't know how the code is structured under the hood, you cannot put a visual editor on top of it. It's I would say, programmatically impossible. That's why Lovable doesn't do it. Yeah. That's why Replit and all the guys, Base 44, etc., do not do it. They add a little bit of visual control, but it's a very thin layer. It's like a small CSS change here and there. Maybe you change the text, and that's easy. But if you want the full-fledged control like WeWeb offers, they are not able to do it. They could do it theoretically, but they would have to become WeWeb. And therefore, they would have to forego all of the advantages that they have to use the raw power of AI to generate code, right? They would have to build that JSON abstraction that I told you about. And so that's why we believe they are not going to do it, because that's not their product market fit. So yeah, I hope it helps. I hope this does answer the question.
Okay, great. And React Solutions is saying very well put. So I think.
Okay, great.
All right. Are there any plans to host the front end by default in the EU?
So the front end is hosted on a global CDN. And so that's the best practice today. And a global CDN is by nature global. So what happens is we create those front-end files, we build them, we create them, and we deploy them. We deploy a replica of your front-end across the whole world. And the great stuff about this, about having a global CDN, is that, let's say, I don't know, I'm in New York and I want to access your app. I will put your URL in my browser, and it will go and fetch it in the US, right? So it's going to be very snappy, and I will have your app displayed for me very quickly. If I'm in Paris, then I will have it from France. And so if I'm in Indonesia, I will have it from the APAC hub. So that's actually very handy, and that's the best practice. So if you want your front to be only in EU, then yeah, I think you should self-host it, because we don't plan to not offer that global CDN to our users, or to offer alternatives to that. Because also we believe that it's actually fairly easy to self-host the front end. You take your files, you just deploy them on a server that is located in Frankfurt, or I don't know where, in Paris, and it's fine. So yeah, it's a long answer to say no. Unfortunately, it's not planned. But because most of our customers, they are just happy to have that global CDN by default, because they know that they can go global in one click.
For sure. And then we have Tarek's Way asking if the backend code is also exportable like the front end.
Yes, it is. And that was a technical challenge, obviously, because we wanted the backend to follow the same philosophy. So be very open, be very modular, and be owned by you. So the backend behind the curtains is two things. One, a Node.js backend. Everything is written in Node, so it's typical JavaScript, and you can export it and deploy it as you want. And a Postgres database. And for the Postgres database, we use a Supabase competitor, which is called Neon. I don't know if you've heard of them. And so again, behind the curtains, we kind of put together a lot of backend services that already existed and made it native to WeWeb. And we chose Neon because it was actually very easy to get that DB, that Postgres DB, and deploy it wherever you want. So if you use the full-fledged backend authentication, the servers, and the DB, you can get them and deploy them. If you use only the server, you can get the server deployed. If you use only the DB, you can get the DB and deploy it on your infrastructure. So again, long answer to say yes.
And really interesting question again. Like, I love how WeWeb is growing, but a continuous fear of my clients I develop as apps as an agency is that what happens if 3 years down the line WeWeb is no longer in business? How do I handle that question as an agency owner?
So it's a question we've had since 8 years now. I mean, so that's maybe one thing you could tell to your customer is that, you know, we've been in business for a while now, and we are in business with the largest companies in the world. We are in business with the largest bank in Europe, BNP. We are in business with the largest French company, La Poste. We're in business with Carrefour, Decathlon, PwC, one of the largest consulting firm, accounting firm. And these guys, I can tell you, they roasted us. You know, they asked access to our accounts just to make sure that we were solvable. They talked to our investors. It was crazy. And so they vetted us. So, you know, maybe that's one thing you can tell. That's one of the arguments. Like, we've been in business for a while, and we have very important customers who actually trust us in staying in business for a while. So that's one thing. And then if it's not sufficient, then you can tell them, if in 3 years, you know, WeWeb is done, guys, we have the code. So the production will not be done. With this code, especially with AI, but let's not go there, but just with this code, I can easily do some simple changes. I can change a component, I can change a page structure, I can add a page. So like all the UI changes could be done. And then if you want to completely revamp the logic and how it works, maybe we should just migrate either to another platform or rebuild the application. So yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Nice. Miguel is saying he did a test with from a screenshot and it was very accurate. That's really nice.
Nice.
Actually, I did it earlier today as well. I was very impressed.
It works well. Yeah.
And so how easy it could be to ask the AI and WeWeb to follow the design in a single page or on a single page component or element and apply it to any other component or page.
Yeah.
Any built-in instruction.
Yeah. You will like this. So when you create your project, it comes with a design system. And so if it's created the first time with AI, the AI will actually predefine all of your design system. And your design system consists of, you know, typographies, colors, spacings, and a clean file where it's written in plain text what design guidelines the AI should use. And so you will generate a first page, let's say, and then you will go into another page and you will say, I don't know, let's say you build a simple CRUD a to-do list, right? So you will generate the first page, and then when you click on one of the tasks, you want another page to open, and then you can tell AI, create the task page, and it will create the task page. You will not even have to tell it to follow the design guidelines. It will do it by, you know, programmatically, and so it will review that design system and just use it and apply it, and you will see that the design will be very consistent across pages. So that's one. And then if you want to change the colors down the road, the great thing is that those components will have been bound to your design system. So let's say your primary color is blue and you want it to become green. You just go into the design system, pick the green, and it will, you know, it will be deployed on all your app, and suddenly everything that was blue will become green. So we have this design system at project level that acts as a single source of truth for your design, and the AI knows how to use it very well.
And actually, in our design systems, we also have component. And does the AI use the components of the design system or not yet?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Sure.
Not yet.
All right.
But it will soon, because we did that. There was one key feature that was missing to do this. It's a bit technical, so maybe I'm not going there, but it's the way we were documented those components for the AI.
Right. Okay.
And we did that extra mile, I think, this week. So very soon we'll be able to, you know, AI will be able to actually handle your own custom coded components or your own custom built components.
And by the way, a feature that's a little bit hidden that a lot of people don't know about is that your design, when you're working with AI, you can ask AI to not edit your design system. So if you have a design system that you love and you locked in and everything is fine, you can toggle that switch off,
Yeah.
so that you are sure that AI won't destroy or
Yeah.
add the colors that you don't want it to
Yeah.
add. I mean, it will not destroy the colors, but that it doesn't add anything. All right, we have this question. The old Supabase plugin is because the new one doesn't support self-hosted instance of Supabase. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's one of the...
true. Because you have to run it through our servers.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because it depends.
No, I think it's I think it's a custom tab. So when we connect Supabase with the data and API,
Okay.
we don't have that option of putting the custom URL of Supabase.
Oh, okay,
We do
okay.
a connect. I think that's...
Okay. That's probably on the tickets.
Yeah.
That's probably on the roadmap, hopefully. So I'll make sure we have a ticket in the backlog for that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Betty, Oksaf, but I think that it's because you have to connect, right? You have to connect in one button, but we'll look into it. And Roderick Peters is saying, is there a new DPA? And how about American Cloud Act? I think...
Yeah, so the new DPA is not out yet, but it's being reviewed by the lawyers now. So I think it's going to be out in June. Now it's just being approved. And once it's approved, then we'll release that DPA, and it will cover for the backend thing.
Yeah. Some support from Rack. I think the deterministic way of building on WeWeb is far superior.
Yes, I agree.
Nice. Again, some love. That's nice. Making small changes and adjusting parameters turns into endless token burning. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
We were joking yesterday that at one point maybe we'll have a tagline that says no token required. And any plans on improving custom component development environment? NPM local testing is awful and close it.
Yeah. So
we would like this.
Yeah, custom components, we put it aside for a while, but we're going to resume working on this. First thing we'll be doing is making sure that AI can help you guys build the custom coded components. I think maybe one of the first things we'll do is the CLI is also let you build your custom components with Claude or Codex or whatever you're used to, and deploy those custom coded components on your GitHub and then through in WeWeb. So yeah, this will come. And then with regards to the limitations you're mentioning, that's going to be part of that epic. That's going to be part of that theme that we are going to reopen. So so yes, it's going to come, and it's going to come this year, right? So that's something because that's one of the key also arguments for using WeWeb against other no-code platforms. Is again part of this openness philosophy, and we want to make sure that you are able to use custom coded components if you need. And then since you mentioned NPM, I also wanted to mention that we want to support the installation of NPM package on the WeWeb backend as well. So once you'll be able to do this, you will be virtually able to build any custom logic on the backend too. So, and that's still part of that philosophy of being completely open and let users use whatever NPM package they would like to on the backend side as well.
Cool. And are there any plans of official WeWeb plugin to convert PWH in native?
Yeah, none of our clients want some native features like push notification, which work for desktop and mobile. So we want to do this. That's definitely on the radar. I'm not sure we'll be able to do it this year. I wish though, because I mean, a lot of people are asking for this, and a lot of customers that are very close to our hearts are asking for this because they are building, a lot of applications with WeWeb nonstop, and I would love to just be able to build their mobile applications with it too. And so we don't miss a lot of things to make it happen. We need to work on those notifications. That's one, and some of the native functions that a mobile allows you to have. And since recently, you probably saw it, but now PWAs are much more powerful. You can do a lot more things that are much closer to native mobile applications with PWAs. I actually do believe that it does the 2080, right? It covers all the features to cover 80% of the mobile applications. And then you would have to wrap that to deploy it on the Apple Store and the Android store. And so we have Despia. Those guys are already doing that for WeWeb. I never tried it personally, but I've heard great feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you go and check Despia, DESPIA, yeah, great.
Share the link
Thank
in the
you.
chat.
You should see that there is this way you can use their service to actually help you deploy WeWeb PWA on a store natively. But at some point, if we invest some time on PWAs, we'll want to offer that natively to our users as well. So again, it's a yes, but for now it's not planned. So I really cannot speak about the timeline.
And would it be possible to provide a detailed documentation explaining how WeWeb works? This would make the audit process easier for the compliance department as well as for any external auditing parties.
Yes, so we actually plan to do that too. And so the enterprise clients are of a very different nature than most of our users today. But as we are growing, we are having more and more enterprise customers and enterprise interest overall. And so actually last month, it's now 2 months ago, we opened I would say, a specific effort at WeWeb to go and prepare the platform to be more enterprise ready. Part of it is, this reflection around SOC 2, ISO 27001, etc. Another part is to have off-the-shelves documentation dedicated to enterprises. And so one of them is, how can you be compliant, etc. But since we don't have that off the shelves today, I truly recommend to just reach out to us directly and tell us about your specific needs, and then we can create something custom for you. We can even attend to some meetings. Now we have some people trained here at WeWeb who can come with you at some meetings or meet your stakeholders at your company to discuss this with them. And now we are kind of bulletproof with this because, like I said, since we've been through those very large customers, now we can easily, I feel comfortable having those discussions because we've had them many times and now we are ready. So yeah, first let's do something kind of custom, and then down the road later this year, you will have ready-made documentation available for you.
Cool. Yeah, but Patrick is confirming that it's the
Okay.
way we connect to Supabase.
Okay, great.
Another great question, thank you. Will there be a way to create WeWeb apps from Cloud Code so we can use that scaffold everything and then edit visually?
Yeah, exactly. That's the objective of the CLI MCP.
Yeah.
So again, first of all, we need to stabilize our, the WeWeb agentic system. We need to make sure that it's reliable, that it's usable, for production-ready applications, etc. Once that agentic system is kind of very stable, and we're planning for the end of June for that, hopefully. If not, that's going to happen during the summer. That's what I believe. Then we'll open up the CLI MCP, and then you'll be able to build in WeWeb through Cloud.
Very cool.
Front end, back end, everything. Yeah, me too.
Excited.
Yeah, that's going to be very fun to do.
All right, and we need some guidance from you guys on how to do tech documentation for apps built using no-code, since there are no GitHub repos. I currently take screenshots and create visual diagrams.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is actually part of the extra features I was mentioning at the beginning of the Ask Me Anything, where we want to offer off the shelves automatic documentation creation. That's one, and AI can help a lot actually doing this. And so I was mentioning also the audit, the performance audit, security audit, all of this automated. That's going to be a mix of AI and programmatic. We need to think about it and to qualify it. But yeah, we'll also help you actually document your applications, because one of the main also arguments for using a visual editor, I would say, together with AI, is again to have control and maintainability over time. And if you want to easily have multiple collaborator or new collaborators step in and help you do some changes in WeWeb, you have to document your app really well. And so we know that that's something that is very important for a lot of our customers, and therefore a documentation feature will be developed at some point. So in the meantime, do I have any advice for that? I would say, start from the design system because that's something that's already handy and available in there. And then, the workflows, we're going to do a lot of efforts as well. That's one of the things that's coming this month. You will be able to navigate to all of your elements workflow from one panel. So all the workflows will be documented in one panel. You'll be able to access all of your workflows, global and elements workflows from one panel. So yeah, that's going to be nice. It's going to be either like the end of May or early June, but that's something we're working on. And I think that will help also kind of documenting the app, because suddenly in one place you will see all of those elements workflows. You will not have to go and look for them in every element and every page. So that's going to be very useful. So yeah. As we progress, we're going to help you with this.
Yeah, and I just want to say congrats on the efforts, because of just you're already doing something which is more than what I do when I build something. So nice. And so yeah, how can I get more insight into building more efficiently with the built-in AI? So far, I was building in WeWeb all based on my own custom designing and not via the AI feature, a link to best practices. I'm sharing a link to our docs about that topic. I think the chat and all that has changed a lot since, so it may not be up to date. Just sharing the link because we will update it shortly, so at least you know where to look. I think at the moment we don't have a perfect resource on this.
No, yeah. Keep in mind at this point that it's really an alpha version, and therefore my recommendation would be to kind of scope your prompts, make them as small and as precise as possible. If you ask AI to like build a full-fledged feature, there's a lot of chance that it's going to break some stuff. But if you ask AI to build that workflow, build that element, or build that section or two sections, it's going to be very powerful. So keep in mind that the AI is wild at this point, and so if you want to harness it, you have to be kind of gentle and very precise with it for now. Yeah.
True. One thing I noticed, just adding a small sentence with the kind of style you like, even if it's super general, or adding a screenshot for the UI, that's something that is like a magic trick compared to just asking for, I don't know, a landing page and not specifying anything.
Yeah, and then but just for the design itself, by the way, you can also ask it to build your design system for you.
Yeah, I love that.
And once it is done, then it will always follow it. Yeah. So it's also a nice way to kind of guardrail it.
Yeah, you can iterate on it. That's true. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. We're currently exploring the use of WeWeb with large clients in the insurance industry, and this is presently one of the main hurdles for us. Looking forward to the docs. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Feel free to reach out to us because we have large customers in the insurance industry already. So we have kind of relatable use cases. So again, feel free to reach out, drop us an email on either me, like Raphael at WeWeb.io, or contact@WeWeb.io, and we'll take care of it.
And we're probably going to wrap up in a minute, so we'll just take the last few questions. But if you have more questions that come up afterwards, I'll share the link to in the community forum where you can just ask a bunch of questions and Raphael will answer.
Yep.
On that topic, in the WeWeb Academy, could we have 2 parallel courses, full stack using WeWeb backend and one for WeWeb Superbase? In an ideal world, yes. At the moment, the number one priority of Matthew for the Academy is obviously like the full stack course. So hopefully in the future, we can do that. By the way, if some of you are educators and want to do that, we can potentially sponsor you if you want us to and support you and help you with the structure.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to us as well.
I want to mention again that Superbase is a very important partner to us.
Yeah.
We know them personally.
Yeah.
We did YC 1 year apart. So I personally know the CEO and the co-founders.
They send me a T-shirt, so I love them.
Nice. Yeah. So we are very close to them, and we have a lot of new users coming in through them. So for us, the Superbase partnership is very important. Yeah. So I just want to make it clear that we'll continue to support, improve, and then that's why we have that budget also to potentially finance someone who would love to do that documentation. We're just kind of constrained resource-wise for now, but we'll do that at some point.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. WeWeb is the only platform that helped me make my vision. Take my vision for my app and make it real.
Nice.
So nice.
Thank you. It's fantastic to read.
Thank you so much, Aaron. And built-in user auth and test as you is a great feature. Any plans on improving plugin-based external databases such as? So yeah, integrations, yes, absolutely. We covered it a little bit before, but yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna have to head out. I will share one last time the link to our product hunt page. Like, if you care to upvote, leave a comment. That would be great. Like, it helps a lot. And we're always just happy to get your love. Really,
Yes.
it gives us a lot of energy.
Let me check, but I think at this point we are head to head with Google Anti-Gravity. So it's actually very fun that 2.0 they launched at the same time. Yeah. So we are like 22 upvotes behind.
But we have way more comments. I don't know why we're
very
we
close.
should be second.
So if we could be above them, that would be fantastic. So yeah, if you have a product hunt account, like please come and upvote. That would help.
All right, cool. And you can also get the discount on, but you I guess on new plan.
Yeah, on new plans.
Yeah. Plans,
just go use it. Like, feel free.
Yeah.
It's going to be available for 1 week. So if you plan to upgrade at some point, just do it now. That's the best moment.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
See you.